The archaeological chamber hummed with translator devices and holographic displays as scholars from across the galactic consortium gathered around the newly discovered artifact. The obsidian tablet, recovered from the ruins of the precursor civilization on Kepler 442b, had baffled xenoarchaeologists for months. Its surface was covered in what appeared to be random scratches and geometric patterns that defied all known linguistic analysis. Bella stood at the back of the chamber, her human frame dwarfed by the towering Vaktar researchers and the crystalline bodies of the Luminari scholars. As a junior member of the expedition, she had barely earned her place on this mission. Her advisor, Dr. Kanat, a distinguished Thrussian with iridescent scales and 4 articulated arms, had vouched for her despite the consortium's hesitation about including humans in advanced archaeological work. "Another dead end," announced senior scholar Vexiron, his mandibles clicking with frustration. "These markings follow no grammatical structure, no syntax, no semantic patterns whatsoever." He gestured dismissively at the holographic projection of the tablet floating above them. "I'm beginning to think the precursors weren't as advanced as we believed. These could be mere decorations." A murmur of agreement rippled through the assembled scholars. Bella felt her stomach tighten. 6 months of work, countless resources, and the reputation of the entire expedition hung on deciphering this tablet. The precursors had supposedly been the most advanced civilization in the galaxy's history, existing millions of years before any current species had achieved spaceflight. Kanat's voice cut through the discouragement, his translator rendering his native clicks and whistles into smooth galactic common. "We shouldn't abandon our efforts so quickly. Perhaps we're approaching this from the wrong angle." "With respect, Dr. Kanat," Vexiron replied, his tone sharp. "We've exhausted every linguistic database in the consortium, every known writing system, every symbolic language, every mathematical notation. These symbols are meaningless." Bella had been studying the projection quietly, her brow furrowed. Something about the patterns nagged at her, like a word on the tip of her tongue. The scratches weren't random, she could feel it. There was an underlying rhythm, a structure that felt almost familiar. "May I see the tablet up close?" Bella asked, her voice barely above a whisper. The chamber fell silent. Several scholars turned to stare at her, their various anatomies expressing what she recognized as barely concealed condescension. "The human wishes to examine what we could not decipher?" Vexiron's translator carried a tone of amusement. "By all means. Perhaps your species' primitive pattern recognition will succeed where advanced analytical algorithms have failed." Soft laughter echoed through the chamber. Bella felt her cheeks burn, but Kanat's gentle touch on her shoulder steadied her. "Go ahead, Bella," he said quietly. "Fresh eyes sometimes see what experienced ones miss." Bella approached the tablet, her heart pounding. Up close, the markings seemed even more chaotic, lines intersecting at odd angles, curved scratches that started and stopped abruptly, clusters of dots arranged in seemingly random groupings. Then she tilted her head, letting her eyes unfocus slightly, a trick her grandmother had taught her for finding constellations. The patterns shifted. Suddenly, gloriously, they made sense. "Oh my God," she breathed. "What is it?" Kanat moved closer, his interest piqued. Bella's hands trembled as she pointed to a cluster of vertical lines. "This isn't writing. It's mathematics. Base 10 numerical notation." She traced her finger across the tablet. "These aren't random scratches, they're tally marks, like the ones humans used thousands of years ago before we developed formal number systems." "Impossible," Vexiron scoffed. "We've analyzed—" "You analyzed them as language," Bella interrupted, her excitement overriding her usual deference. "But look, 1 line, 2 lines, 3, 4, and then a diagonal crossmark for 5. Then it repeats. And here," she pointed to curved marks, "these are parentheses, grouping symbols. And these dots aren't decorative, they're decimal points." The chamber had gone completely silent. Kanat leaned in, his 4 eyes widening. "By the infinite void, she's right. This section here, if we interpret these marks as she suggests, it's an equation. A complex one." Bella's mind raced as she traced the patterns. "It's not just any equation. It's a gravitational calculation. Look at the ratios, the way these groups relate to each other. This is orbital mechanics. They were calculating planetary orbits." "But why use such a primitive notation system?" asked a Luminari scholar, her crystalline form pulsing with confused colors. "Why not use digital encoding or quantum notation?" Bella turned to face the assembled scholars, a smile spreading across her face. Because these aren't meant for machines or advanced civilizations. They're teaching tools. The precursors created something that any species could understand, regardless of their technological level. Counting on fingers or tentacles or manipulators is universal. They left us a message that anyone could read once they learned to count. Kanat's scales rippled with what Bella had learned to recognize as pride. The human is correct. We were searching for complexity when the beauty lay in simplicity. This changes everything we thought we knew about the precursors. Vexiron approached the tablet with newfound respect, his mandibles clicking in a pattern Bella's translator interpreted as thoughtful contemplation. If the human's interpretation is correct, and I'm beginning to believe it is, then we can finally decode the entire archive. Months of work, solved by recognizing the most fundamental form of mathematics. Over the following weeks, Bella and Kanat worked side by side, translating tablet after tablet. The precursor's knowledge flowed forth. Physics, astronomy, biology, all encoded in the simplest mathematical notation imaginable. Each discovery proved that the most advanced civilization in galactic history had understood something the current consortium had forgotten. True wisdom lies not in complexity, but in making knowledge accessible to all. On the day before the expedition concluded, Kanat found Bella staring at the first tablet they'd decoded. "What troubles you?" he asked. "I keep thinking about what you said when you brought me on this mission, that humans might see things differently because we're still so close to our primitive past." She smiled ruefully. "Turns out that was exactly what we needed." Kanat's scales shimmered with warmth. "The consortium has much to learn from humanity. You taught us that sometimes the answer isn't in our advanced algorithms or quantum computers. Sometimes you just need to count on your fingers." Bella laughed, holding up her hands and wiggling her 10 fingers. "Humanity, fuck yeah," she said in English, a phrase her translator left untranslated. Kanat tilted his head curiously, but Bella just grinned. Some things, she thought, were best left as uniquely human.